only mode.
Namaskara, Swagatam. Today is April 14th, Chaturdasha Dinankah, Raghuvamsham, Braspati Vasarah, Mangalacharanam Kriyate, Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate, Ramam Ramesham Bhaje, Ramena Vyata Nishachara Chamu, Ramaya Tasmai Namaha, Ramanasti Paranam, Parataram, Ramasya Smyaham, Rame Chittale Sada Bhautame Bhorama Mamuddhara Rama Rame Tirame Tirame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattvaryam Rama Nama Varanane Shri Rama Nama Varanana On Nama Iti Shri Maheshwara Sutrani I Un Rilruk E Ong I Auch Hayavarat Lanya Nyamanga Na Nam Jabain Ghadadash Jabagadash Kapa Cha 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 Tav Kapaisha Sha Sar Hal Iti Maheshwara Sutrani. The last time we were looking at this shloka, we finished this shloka last time, which is it was number 78, Ashta Saptatitama Shlokaha, Pachitaha Asmabhi, Gatavasare, the last time. The only thing was towards the end of the class, we realized that this whole compound, Ja Nighata Katinanguli, Vrutha. Vrutha connects with the Vrutha Katina. So one whose fingers are hardened in vain by the striking of the bowstring. That is actually qualifying this Anjalihi coming over here. So Badhyatam Abhaya Yachana Anjalihi. So let this Anjali means folded arms. So Abhayachana Anjalihi. So which is the typo here. This one ya is extra here. Abhaya Yachana Anjalihi. Yachanam is to ask for request. So this is Anjali for requesting protection. Abhayam is a protection, Rakshanartham. So this one is of course Prathama Ek Angulihi. See, it's a Bahuvrihi compound. Bahuvri compound has Anyapada Pradhanatvam. Anyapada Pradhanatvam. It's an adjective. That's an important thing. Bahuvri is an adjective. So we do not know that this is, even though Angulihi is feminine, this one, this compound, Ja Nighata, this must be like this, put in the document like that, which is Ja Nighata. 1 second. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. My thing is not okay. Okay. Ja Nighata. Right. Okay. All right. So it will be Vrutha. Vrutha Ja Nighata Katinangulihi. Katinangulihi. Now this, even the Anguli is feminine, is the Bahuvri Samasaha. The Bahuvri means it has the Anya Pada Pradhanatvam, Bahuvri Samasaha. So just because Angulihi is feminine does not tell us if the Padam which is Pradhanyam, whether that is masculine, doesn't tell us. So this could be actually be a Prathama Ekvacham Harivat Atva Mativat Najñayate. It could be either one. Now in the shloka, as it turns out that, so we have two qualifying candidates for this. One is Kataro Si Tvam Sri Ramaha. This is the Prathama Ekvachanam. Kataro Si Yadi Tvam. So that is one thing up here. Tajjataha. If you are afraid and threatened by my, by the sharp edge of my axe. So that's one Prathama Vachan, Ekavachanam. You have to find what this is qualifying. Ja Nighata Katina Angulihi. It will qualify with something which is either Prathama Ekavachan Silinge or Pullinge. Because this cannot be Napumsakalinge. Napumsakalinge would be declined like Wari. You would not get the Visarga there. Because in Napumsakalinge you would have somehow Napumsakar Lyuksyata. So this is qualifying somebody who is something which is Prathama Ekvachanam, Pullinge atva Silinge api. Silinge atva Pullinge api, I should say. Could be masculine also. So I was taking it like it's qualifying Tvam up there, but that is not correct. she's qualifying Anjalihi down here. So that is one which is the correct connection to be made here. There was a choice, but given by the placement, Sannidhyat. So Anjali Shabdasya Visheshanam. So the in fact, if you look at the commentary also, clearly he had given that Vrutha Ja Nigatena Kathina Angulaya Yasya Saha Tathoktaha Anjalihi. Anjalihi. Okay. So now let's continue with the next shloka now. It says Evam Muktavati Bhima Darshane. So the prior shloka we finished the Purusharama's Uktihi Samapta. So the words of Purusharama have now finished. Now we are going the Sri Ramasya Uttaram. That is the what is the reply of Sri Rama is going to come now. Eva Muktavati Bhima Darshane Bhargave Smita Kampita Dharha Tadhanur Grahanam Eva Raghavaha Pratyapadyata Samarthamuttaram. Punarikavaram. Eva Muktavati Bhima Darshane Bhargave Smita Kampita Dharha Tadhanur Grahanam Eva Raghavaha Pratyapadyata Samarthamuttaram. Evamuktavati Bhimadarshane Bhargave Smitakam Pitadharaha Sadhunurgahanam Eva Raghavaha Pratyapadyata Samarthamuttaram. So keep on reading, keep on reading, keep on reading. Shanaihi, Shanaihi, Spashtam, Spashtam, Ekam Ekam Aksharam, Pratitavyam, Yavachakyam, Nirdosham Pratitavyam. So as far as possible, read loudly, slowly, clearly, and you will get everything in the language. There is really no excuse to not learn the language, because you can keep on reading and getting at every step. At every step, you will get something more, something more, something more. It will add up. And the thing is, you will also get Vyakaranam also, because just like reading Raghuvamsham Kavyam or Gita or Ramayanam, you can also read Siddhanta Kaumudi. If you keep on reading Siddhanta Kaumudi Ashtadhyayi side by side, you will get the knowledge of Vyakaranam also. It will take time, but you will get at every step. So now let's look at what Malinatha said, and as usual, you can read with the good commentaries. So, Adhikritaya Tikaya Saha Patitavyam, Adhikritaya Tikaya, along with the authorized commentary of Bhashya Samhitam. So you can read with the Bhashya Sahitam, with the Bhashyam also. Okay, so Evam Iti. So whatever time you have, you can keep on reading one line, two line, one verse, two words, and only read good books. Read good books like, Gita, Ramayana, Raghuvamsham Kavyam, Ashtadhyayi, Kaumudi, read books like that first at least, before doing anything else. So the Padanvaya and everything is given to us over here. Evam iti. So this evam now ends the prior section. Evam means thus. Evam means thus. This is an avyayam. Evam, of course, in the Saturday class we just saw these 5 rules, which is the which give the avyaya sanya. Avyaya sanya vidhayakani pancha sutrani. And prathamasya prathame, prathamasya adhyayasya prathame pade. It's starting from the sutram, Swaradi nipatam avyayam, tadhitascha sarva vibhakti, krinmejantaha, tvatosun kasanaha, avibhavascha. The moment you take the word avyayam out of your mouth, immediately think of this sutra panchakam, so panchasutri. Swaradi nipatam avyayam, tadhitascha sarva vibhakti, krinmejantaha, tvatosun kasanaha, avibhavascha. And the avyayam comes in every step, so pade pade drishyante. At every step you get avyayam. So immediately come here and ask which one could it be. The thing is that the very first sutram, Swaradi Nipatam, avyayam has a gana. Swaradi ganaha. Swara is a listing of word called Swaradi. That's number one. Second thing is that Nipatam. Nipatam, where does Nipatam take us? Nipatam takes us to a sutram called Pragrishwara Nipataha. Also there is a gana over here. Chadayo Satve. Chadayo Satve. Cha Adayaha. Chadayaha. So these are 2 ganas which you have to, and these are both Akriti Gana. Akriti Gana Ubhav. Akriti Gana Ubhav. These are 2 Akriti Gana. Means that you can include terms in these which are not specifically mentioned there. There is room to expand. One very good book that you should have in your hand is should keep very close to you, is the Avyaya Koshaha. Avyaya Koshaha. If you look at the word Evam, he'll also use the good meanings there. In what word is Evam used? He puts in the Chadayo Sattve, first of all, he says. And Nishtaya Angikara Prakara means that Anena Prakarena, thus, in this way, in this manner. So, because he gives various meaning. He is nishchayaha. Evam means this must be so. Evam eva bhavet. Evam. Angikaraha. Evam evam. Okay, okay, okay. Evam can also mean okay. In English, the evam is okay sometimes. Okay. Evam evam. Okay, okay, okay. So it is. Angikaraha. You accept something and say it's okay. Then prakaraha. Anina prakarena, which is what I think we have here, is that this in this manner, thus. There's some others also, there's some other meanings also. But evam is anina prakarena. Why did he put it so? Then the padanvaya is bhima darshane bhargave. In the tika also, here ruda padacheda is bhima darshane bhargave evam uktavati supplies sati. Supplies sati. This is called what's called a sat saptami or sati saptami, which means that a saptami which is used when one event indicates the timing, rather that one well-known event, at least a more well-known event, indicates something which is already known, indicates the timing of another event. Look at the word Sat Saptami, as always refer to Professor Abhyankar's Dictionary of Sanskrit Grammar, and there if you look at the word Sat Saptami, because it gives, I like this book, it gives a well-authorized, proper, short, concise English explanation, along with the Sutra Nirdeshaha. Look at the word Sat Saptami over here, or Sati Saptami. What does it say? The locative case, this is what is meant by the word Sati. This is what we're talking about, the word Sati. What kind of Saptami is this? Uktavati, Bhima Darshane Bhargave, Uktavati. What kind of Saptami is it? The locative case prescribed by the rule Yasya cha bhavena bhava lakshanam. As seen in the example given there is Goshuduyamana sugataha. So he went when the cows were being milked, and so that is the example of that. And the Mahabhashyam also gives some examples of that. So on account of the frequent occurrence of the word sati, the large number of examples in the locative absolute, the term sati saptami is used by modern grammarians for a better word, sat saptami in Mahabhashyam. So Sutrami gives it yasya cha bhavena bhava lakshanam. Yasya cha bhavena bhava lakshanam. Yasya cha bhavena bhava lakshanam. This is 3.337. I've spoken to you before. To do any vibhakti assignment in this language, vibhakti vidhayaka sutrani, dvitiyasya tritiye, in the third pada of the second chapter, dvitiyasya adhyasya tritiye pade, sarvani etani sutrani grijyante. So all these are taken labhyante, pathyante, prapyante. So vibhakti vidhayaka sutrani prapyante, dvitiyasya tritiye. So there any vibhakti assignment you want to do, always you have to find one sutram or a vartikam or something in 2.3 to make the vibhakti assignment. Having said that, that depends, the number of rules in 2.3, which depends on the karaka sanya, karaka. And that karaka comes on 1.4 in the section called karake. Always keep the Ashtadhyayi map in front of you. There is no other way. There is no other way to be an expert in Vyakaranam unless you know the Ashtadhyayi territory. Remember this at all times. People today don't want to do Ashtadhyayi. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to think about it. We don't want Ashtadhyayi. But that is really shortchanging yourself for no reason. There is no way to master Vyakaranam. Even if you know Siddhanta Kaumudi, there is no way to master Vyakaranam without knowing the Ashtadhyayi. So this is all Acharyas say this. Everybody from, old times to even today, everybody says this. If you want to master Vyakaranam, please refer to Ashtadhyayi, repeatedly refer to Ashtadhyayi at all times. So in this class, we'll keep on doing that. Even though people don't want to do it, that's a different thing, but we have to do the right way, at least in the class. So there's a section called Karake. The Karake section, and if you have some practice, you will get more and more, you have more fun with it. It's like a Monopoly game, this Ashtadhyayi is like that. So Karake comes in 1.4.23. That Karake gives Karaka labels like what is karma, what is karta, what is karanam, what is apadanam, what is sampradhanam, and then based on that, they might assign a vibhakti might be assigned. So this Karake goes up to Kuhadroha, Ipshitaha, Rakshpatya, Shatava, Karma, Vinamscha. It'll go for a while. Akatitam cha buddhi, karta, Satudra karta, Hetushcha, up to Nipataha. So from 1423 to 1455 comes Karake. And that connects to the section on the Vibhakti Vidhanam, which is 2.3. So I'll put in the document over here is the this section called Karake, Karake Adhikara, Karake, and that goes from 1423 to 1455. That defines, gives the Karaka labels like Karma, Karta, etc. Karanam. Does not give the Vibhakti Vidhanam. There's two different things. Always keep in mind, just because something is Karma does not mean it will be Dvitiya. One more time, it's a very important point, is that just because something is Karma does not mean it will be a Dvitiya Vibhakti. Just take a simple example. Ramaha Ayodhyam Gacchati. So Rama is the Karta, Ayodhya is the Karma, object of the going, and Gacchati. This is Kartari Arthe. So Ayodhya was Dvitiya, by Karmani Dvitiya. But if you make it into Karmani Prayogaha, it will be what? Ayodhya Ramena Gamyate. Now here in the second sentence, Ayodhya still has the Karma Sanya. Still the Karma. But it is now Prathama Ekavachanam, not Dvitiya Ekavachanam. So Karma Sanya and Dvitiya Vibhakti are not synonymous. Karma Sanya, Dvitiya Vibhakti are not synonymous. Karma will be Dvitiya only Kartari Arthe. Means Kartari, otherwise not. So 1.4 does not tell you what Vibhakti to use. It only tells you what qualifies for the Karma Sanya, what qualifies for the Karta, Kartu Sanya, and so on. Then when you come to 2.3, in 2.3 comes the Vibhakti Vidhanam. Vibhakti Vidhanam is 2.3. Vibhakti Vidhanam comes in 2.3. Vidhanam comes in 2.3. Now, some Vibhaktis will depend on the Karaka label. Some will not. Let's take a quick example now. Quick example is that we are, let's take Chaturthi for example. Chaturthi comes in 2.3. It says Chaturthi Sampradane. So that which was defined as Sampradanam in 1.4, that term will take Chaturthi Vibhakti, Chaturthi. So this depends on it. This is called a Karaka Vibhakti. It depends on the Karaka label. But there will be some which will be assigned directly without referring to 1.4. And that is let's take this example. This 2.3.16. Namaswasti Swaha Swadhalam Vashad Yogacha. If the word Namaha is used like Namah Shivaya, Vishnave Namaha, Gurave Namaha, so Indra is Swaha. So when these Namaswasti, Swaha, etc. are used in connection with that, the connecting word is Chaturthi. Now this 2.3.16 does not depend on the 1.4 Karake section. This is what's called the Upapada Vibhakti. Upapada Vibhakti is this one. While the Karaka Vibhakti is Chaturthi Sampradane. So there are two kinds of Vibhakti assigned in 2.3. One is Karaka Vibhakti, which first depends on the 1.4 Karake Adhikaraha. While some are assigned directly like this one, Namaswasti Swaha Swadha Alam Vashat Yoga Cha. These are two things now. So maybe I'll put in the document. Why are we talking about all this? Because right now we want to focus on this sutram, which is given for the Sati Saptami. Yascha Bhavena Bhava Lakshanam. And look at the prior sutram, in fact. Saptam Yadhikarancha. This is a Karaka Vibhakti, because it depends on the Adhikarana Sanya, which is defined in 1.4. While this one, 2.3.37, is not talking about the Adhikarana Sanya at all. So this will not be a Karaka Vibhakti. So this is the difference I wanted to mention to you, is that the 2.3 and 1.4 have a connection. Ultimately, you have to find a sutram in 2.3 only to get the Vibhakti assignment. 1.4 does not do that. Now, not all of 2.3 depends on 1.4. Some of them do, some of them don't. So those that do are called Karaka Vibhaktayaha. It depends on the Karaka level. And then Karaka means something which participates in the action. Karaka literally means doer. But here it means the one which is, sahabhagi, which is part of the action, So this one, yascha bhavena bhava lakshana, doesn't depend on the adhikarana sanya. So let me just put in the document quick before we move on. These are all fundamental concepts. We could keep on repeating them in a few classes, so it's called karaka vibhakti. So karaka vibhakti is that, and the last punchline is that when these clash, the karaka vibhakti is baliyasi. The karaka vibhakti rules, not the upadvibhakti. For example, aham narayanam namaskaromi, not aham narayanaya namaskaromi. Even though namas requires chaturthi, but that is the upapada vibhakti. Because namas is there close by in connection with that, the next connecting term should take chaturthi. But there is also a karaka vibhakti which says karmani dvitiya. That depends on the word karma sanya. And that is dictating that the karma should be in dvitiya. So here Narayanam namaskaromi, there is two things over here. Narayanam is the karma, so karmani dvitiya, we demand dvitiya for the karma. And that is the karaka vibhakti. Now, namas is also there. Namas dictates that chaturthi should be used upapada vibhakti. But then when both are clashing, the karaka vibhakti baliyasi. But okay, so let me just put a couple of things in the document. Karaka vibhakti. So this will depend on a karaka sanya, which is like let's say for let's say the karaka label. Depends on a karakaha. I'm sorry. Depends on a karakaha defined in 1.4. Defined in 1.4. Okay. Upapada vibhakti.
Satishji,
Yes.
please complete that. I wanted to ask a question.
Yes, is direct vibhakti assignment without referring to 1.4. Direct vibhakti vidhanam. So without referring to the karaka. Vidhanam. Without reference to karaka. Okay. Get the font right here. Okay. Without karaka reference. Okay, reference to karaka. And the example I gave you here is that the example of the former is we can look at this one, which is chaturthi sampradane, that is 2.3.13. We can also look at saptamyadhikarane, which is 2.3.36 or 2.3.13, 2.3.36. Examples is 2.3.13, Chaturthi Sampradane, 2.3.36, which is Saptamyadhikarane. An example here would be the Namaswasti Swaha, which is 2.3.16. And also what we need right now, which is Yascha bhavena bhava lakshanam. Yascha bhavena bhava lakshanam. Go ahead, Vasant.
Satishji, this may be totally off base because this relates to Shashti perhaps. Kartru karmano kriti addresses the similar issue, right?
Yeah, kartru karmanoho kriti.
Kartru karmanoho.
Yes, let's look at Sutam. Kartru karmanoho, that's what 2.3.65, right?
Yeah.
Kartru karmanoho kriti. What does that say? That's something which has the, let's see the vritti of that quickly. Always a good habit is that read the vritti. Kartru karmanoho kriti, what was asking. So what kind of vibhakti assignment is this? Kartru karmanoho kriti. So, see, normally Shashti is not a vibhakti, is not a karaka vibhakti, because Shashti is not a karaka. Shashti is not a karaka, because Shashti does not directly participate in the action. It only connects to another noun or adjective normally. But this one, what it says is that, let's look at 2.3.65. कृत prayoge kartari karmani cha shashti bhaktir bhavati. So when the krudanta form is being used, krit prayoge, then the kartru and the karta and the karma, they take the shashti bhakti. So so that is what it says. For example, Krishnasya kritihi. Krishnasya kritihi. Kritihi means the action of Krishna or the lila of Krishna. Krishnasya kritihi. The Krishna is the karta there. This karta is taking shashti bhakti. Shashti bhakti. Say balakasya hasanam. So the balaka is the boy's laugh. Balakasya hasanam. Now the boy is a doer. Hasanam is his object, but he still takes the shashti. So balakasya hasanam. Yes. So what's the question, Vasu?
The question is,
So Vasu, what's the question here?
the question I had was that you said karma can take any vibhakti, not necessarily Ditya.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes. A good
That,
point.
in that context, I wanted to ask you.
Oh, yes, it's good. That's a good point. What Vasu is making the point is that just because something has karma does not necessarily mean Ditya. Good point. Because what he's pointing out is that this kartru and karma are taken in shashti bhakti now. That's a good point. So kartru doesn't mean, in fact, interestingly, Vasu, the kartru actually by default takes tritiya bhakti. Normally when we say kartru, we say prathama. That's not true. Because say kartu karanayos tritiya. Kartu karanayos tritiya. So normally as a default, I shouldn't say normally, I should say as a default, kartru takes tritiya, not prathama. Why is that? Because of this thing called anabhite. All these rules in 2.3 has adhikar of anabhite. Anabhite simply means that that term should not have been referred to or indicated by the verb or the participle. So one more time, anabhite means that the verb or the participle should not be, particularly the verb, should not tell you anything about this term. Let's say when you say Ramaha vanam gacchati, Ramaha vanam gacchati. Simple example. The verb gacchati has told you something about Ramaha. Because gacchati means it is prathama purushasya ekavachanam. So gacchati, when you say, immediately you know something about the karta. You know that the karta must be prathama purushaha and must be ekavachanam, ekaha. So Ramaha becomes abhita. Now because it becomes abhita, you default to prathama. So even though this sutram which says kartu karanayos tritiya, tritiya is the default vibhakti, but that's only when it's anabhite. But the point, Vasu's point is well taken, is that the kartu doesn't mean tritiya all the time. We just saw an example, Rama vanam gacchati. And same thing, the karma doesn't mean tritiya all the time. Also anabhite. The example I gave you, which was that Ayodhya Ramena Gamyate. Ayodhya is gone to by Rama. We say Gamyate. It is Ayodhya is dictating Gamyate. The connection with the verb is Ayodhya, not with Rama anymore. So Ayodhya Gamyate. Gamyate also Titiya, Prathama Purushasya Ekavachanam because of Ayodhya. So Ayodhya become Abhita Ayodhya. So then this Karmani Dvitiya will not apply to Ayodhya anymore. All these rules only apply when that term is anabhita. It has no connection with the verb. The verb is not tagged on, is not depending on that term. When the verb depends on that term, then you default down to prathama. Anyway, we made a few points here into this karaka discussion. Vibhakti Vidhana Prakaranam is that there are two different things. One is the karaka, one is the vibhakti. Karaka might be karma, doesn't mean Dvitiya all the time. We just saw two examples, which is when it becomes karmani prayogaha, when the karma becomes abheta, it becomes prathama. And also Vasu gave a good example here, which is that in this, if the kut pratyaya has been used with that, kut pratyaya has been used, then the kartru and karma takes the shashti bhakti over here. Kartru karmanoho kriti. So kut prayoge kartri cha karmani cha shashti bhaktir bhavati. So that is the thing. Okay, anyway, that's a good point. So what do we need right now? We need right now 2.3.37. It's not talking about adhikaranam. This is not a karaka vibhakti. What does Sutram say 2.3.37? So before going to 2.3.37, just give you some background about this vibhakti prakaranam, vidhana prakaranam. He says that saptamiti vartate, because the prior sutram was saptamyadikarane. Saptamyadikarane was the prior sutram. So he says in this case is bhavaha kriya. Here in this sutram, bhava means kriya, an action. An action. Bhava normally means a state or something, but here bhava is kriya. Yasya cha bhavena, yasya cha kriyaya. So by someone's action, kriyantaram lakshyate, another action is indicated by the timing of one action. Tato bhavavataha saptami vibhaktir bhavati. So that which is indicating the other action, that takes saptami. And it says, it also gives another thing, prasiddha chakriya, kriyantaram lakshayati. Prasiddha chakriya, kriyantaram lakshayati. Means it's a well-known event, an already known event, which is now going to indicate to you the timing of another event. So what do we have right now in Raghuvamsham? What we have is that we have this shloka which says, Uktavati. First of all, Bhima Darshana is qualifying Bhargave. Please leave the Visheshanam out of it for time being. Bhima Darshana we don't need to confuse right now. So, Evam Bhargave Uktavati. Uktavati, of course, Uktavat. Uktavat, the pratyaya is Ktavatu pratyaya. It's a Nishtha pratyaya. Kattavatu Nishtha. Kattavatu Nishtha. Use Kattari Arthe. So, one more time, give you a short review is that this Uktavati is a Kartri Arthe Pravaga. How is that? Well, because of the fact that first of all, some basics is what defines Nishtha. Taktavatu Nishtha. Taktavatu Nishtha. Very simple sutra. Very simple sutra. So these rules you have to make your own immediately. It doesn't require any intelligence for this. All it says is that the pratyakta, the pratyaktavatu, this is dvitiya, prathama dvivachanam, taktavatu, dvivachanam is called nishtha. Very, very simple, straightforward. Taktavatu nishtha. Nishtha, the vidhanam is done by, so this is the sanya sutram. The sanya sutram. What is nishtha? Taktavatu nishtha. Right now we have the word uktavati. Now that sutram is the nishtha. Sutram called nishtha. Nishtha can be used bhutarthe. In this adhikara of bhute comes nishtha. Bhute. So pratyaktavatu can be used in the bhutarthe. Now, is it going to be kartari or karmani? Is it active or passive? So, you see, aham uktavan doesn't mean that I spoke or I was spoken to. No, aham uktaha. Eva muktaha. Eva mukta Hrishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata. Chapter 1 of Gita. Chapter 1 of Gita, you have the usage Eva mukta Hrishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata. Now, there we don't have the, it is the, one second, let me see, let me get to the Gita, give me 1 second. It's a good example there. Emukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata Senayor Bhayor Madhye Sthapayitva Arsottamam. I think chapter 1, Emukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata. Chapter 1 maybe around 20-ish. Gudakeshena Bharata. Emukto Rishikesha. Compare this now. Compare this with what we have right now in the Raghuvamsha Kavyam. It says Emukto Rishikesha. So when Rishikesha, Shri Krishna was thus spoken to by Arjuna. Thus spoken to by Arjuna. Krishna did something. So Gudakeshena Uktaha. What we have right now, we have Uktavati. Uktavati means when he had spoken. So Bhargavi Uktavati. So here Bhargavaha is the doer of the action. Bhargavaha Uktavan. Uktavan. So you can say Ramaha, Sri Ramaha, Bhargavena Uktaha. Rama was spoken to by Bhargava. Now what makes one pratyaya active? What makes one passive? Uktaha became passive. Ramaha, Bhargavena Uktaha. But Bhargavaha Ramam Uktavan. Uktavan became active. Now how come one is becoming passive, one is becoming active? Now the default rule here is always know the default rules. You can look up the exceptions. Very important class in Ashtadhyayi. Don't have to worry too much about all the exceptions. Keep the defaults in your mind very firmly. That will lead you to the exceptions. That will lead you to exam. They lead you there. What's the default here? Kartari krit. Kartari krit. Very simple, straightforward sutra. Very, very straightforward. Kartari krit. And the krit pratyaya use kartari arthe. This is the default rule. As per, first of all, what is krit pratyaya? Is kridating, 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 kridating. Kridating means that in this dhatu adhikaraha, which starts from dhatoho, which is 3191, any pratyaya which is defined here, which is ting bhinnaha, different from the tin. Ting. Ting means, of course, tiptajji, the 18 verbal declension, verbal conjugation pratyaya. So anything which is not a ting pratyaya is defined in 3470 tiptajji, etc. That's 3478. So anything other than these, tiptajji, etc. Coming in the section from 3191 on down, get the sanya krit. Now you see how these sanyas are intertwined. You have to know what is krit, what is karaka, what is nishtha. You have to know what these terms mean, otherwise you get lost. So any krit pratyaya is as a default used kartari arthe. But this would make the nishtha pratyaya, which is the kta and ktavatu, both of them kartari. Then how come one became active, one became passive? Reason for that is that even though this is a default kartari krit, here comes the sutram which says that tayoreva kritya kta khalarthaha is anuvritya bhava karmanoho eva. Means these pratyaya kritya, kta and khal arthaha, they can be used only in the passive. So now you see why even though ktaktavatu nishtha and as a first stop kartari krit, both should have been active by kartari krit 3467. But 3470 specifically says the kta pratyaya, only kta, should be used only in the passive. Of course, even below there are counter exceptions below, but let's just stop at that for today, which is that kartari krit tayoreva krityakta khalarthaha, the kta became in the passive while the tavatu remained kartari by 3467 default. So bhargave uktavati means that when Bhargava had thus spoken is kartari arthe. So let me put this one here, is the pratyaya ktavatu, I can put it, this ktavatu pratyaya is used kartari, in kartari arthe, kartari by the default rule, kartari krit. These are all very fundamental concepts. Let's try to practice them, understand them, how Panini deals with all these issues, kartari krit, while the kta pratyaya, as in generally, kta pratyaya used in the passive only, bhava karmanoho, used in the passive. Because a special rule, which is tayoreva krityakta khalarthaha. Now I should put over here, but this has important counter exceptions which you won't look at today. So right now our is uktavati. So we are concerned about this right now. Right now we're talking about this one only, because we don't have to go into detail of the kta pratyaya. But I want to put this in document because this one has important counter exceptions, particularly like Ramaha vanam gataha. Ramaha vanam gataha means Rama has gone to the forest. Now how come then we use pratyakta in the active sense? How come we did that? You can say ayam balakaha suptaha, this boy is sleeping. How come this supta is a kta pratyaya, should be in passive? How it became active? Then aham atra sthitaha, I'm standing here. Now how come sthita also should be passive? Not. But there are counter exceptions, particularly this sutra 3472. Gatyartha karmaka Shli shashing stha sa vasa jana ruha jiryatibhyascha. These dhatus in the gatyarthaka, Ramaha vanam gataha is active now, not passive. Akarmaka, obviously, akarmaka is active. So aham atra sthitaha, balakaha suptaha. and so on. And these others also over here, they can be used in the active also, 3472. I'm sorry, I'm spending some time on these because, these are all basic ideas that we have to understand and try to, make our own. So right now what we have, we have evam uktavati bhargave, bhimadarshane bhargave. Bhimadarshana is only adjective for bhargavaha. We don't need that right now. To understand the concept of Sati Saptami, we don't need Bhimadarshani. Leave it out for time being. Leave it out. We'll come back to it later. That's also a technique you want to use, by the way. It's all I told you before also. Anything which is in Visheshanam can be left out. Tritiya, Panchami, Chaturthi, Saptami, Shashti, we can come back to them later. First find out the Tingantam Padam, then find out what is in Prathama. If it's kartari, then karmani. If it's karma, then if it's karmani, then karma, and start from there. So all these things, Bhimadarshana, we can leave them out. Uktavati sati. So this is an event that we know. We just talked about Purvoktam. So Purvam Varnitam. So when Bhargava had spoken thus, then Sri Rama did something. So this is an event. This is a bhava. This is a kriya. So yasya cha bhavena bhavalakshanam. So this is the bhava kriya, which is the bhavalakshanam, which is now telling you about this bhava, this action which Sri Rama is going to do now. So this is called Sati Saptami, and the commentator will give the word Sati. So when this had transpired, in English also you have Sati Saptami, in English also you have that. On Sri Parashurama having spoken thus, then something happened. So in English, you also have the word on, which is Sati Saptami in English. On seeing him, I went away. On seeing him. That on in English is Sati Saptami. So that is also coming to English also. So we can make a note of that. So this is 2337. 2337 is what is called as Yasya Bhavena Bhavalakshanam. Yasya Bhavena Bhavalakshanam. It gives a Saptami is used when one event indicates another event, So Sat Saptami, or Sati Saptami, and when one well-known action gives the indication of another action, English example is on. On seeing him. Okay, so let's come back to this. So this is a concept which you see all the time in Bhagavad Gita. I already gave you example, I think before, is the, he's right here, there is one right here, which says, Pravrutte Shastra Sampate Dhanurudyamya Pandavaha Rishikesham Tada Vakyam Idamaha Mahipate. Pravrutte Shastra Sampate. It is the Saptami. So when the Sampatam descent, when the descent of arrows had just started, then Arjuna has said to Sri Krishna whatever he said. This is Sati Saptami in Gita. Sampate. Also comes in Gita a little bit later. Sishu Dushtasu Varshneya Jayate Varna Sankaraha. Sishu Dushtasu. So this is also a Saptami. Is when the women are corrupted, then something happens. Sishu Dushtasu Varshneya. So now, look at what happens is that here, is that the word Ukta, in our case, Uktavat is an action. Uktavat, he spoke. So that goes in Saptami, to indicate this other action. Now, of course, anything which Samadhikaranam with that will also take Saptami. Because Uktavati is gone in Saptami. That is this is Saptami. But this has Samadhikaranam. Samadhikaranam refers to the Uktavat is being driven by, is the same, referred to the same item as Bhargavaha. And of course, Bhima Darshana is qualifying Bhargava. So these three are going together. They have to be in the same vibhakti because they refer to the same person. They cannot take different vibhaktis. So Uktavati went in Saptami because of the fact that it is Sati Saptami, Yasya Bhava in the Bhava Lakshanam, it's an action, it's going to indicate another action. And then because Bhargava is in Samadhikaranam with Uktavat and Bhima Darshana of the same thing, they will also tag along. So what you normally see, Sati Saptami, you see a string of Saptamis. A string of Saptamis. How to identify Sati Saptami? How to identify it? Normally you will see either Pratyakta or Ktavatu in a Saptami Vibhakti. And you will also see one or two other terms in Samadhikaranam also in Saptami. Like in Gita we just saw that, right? In Gita, the example we just saw, which is this one, Srishu Dushtasu. So Dushta, this is the Pratyakta, Dushtasu, Saptami Bhavachanam. Then Strishu Dushtasu. So this is the, in this case, this is the Kta Pratyaha, which we just went through, is passive. We just talked about that. Tayoreva Krityakta Kadarthaha. So when the woman gets corrupted, so those who are getting corrupted will also be in Saptami, because Dushta is qualifying Stri, Srishu Dushtasu. So you see a Pratyaha, mostly it will be a Kta Pratyaya, Ktavatu Pratyaya in Saptami. And correspondingly, if it is Kta, the karma which will be there will be in Saptami, which is qualifying the karma Strishu. And then here, in the other example in Gita that we had just now, which is the Pravritte Shastra Sampate, Narudyamya Pandavaha, Pravritte Shastra Sampate. So that one is coming over here, which is the Shastra Sampataha Pravritte. Now look at this, a good example, by the way. So Pravritte is the Pratyaya Kta, Kta, Kta. So when the, but this is, Pravritta is to proceed, So this is a Akarmaka Prayoga over here. So because of the counter exception we talked about before, I hope it's not too complicated for you, but we said that the Pratyakta should be used only in the passive, 3470, but this has important counter exceptions in 3472, I think, which is Akarmaka becomes active again, because you can say Aham Sthitaha, I'm standing. So Pravritte Shastra Sampate. Always keep Gita in mind. So when you chant Gita, remind yourself. This is Sati Saptami first of all. Secondly, the Pratyakta has been used clearly away. Pravritta. Pravritta means to proceed. It is Akarmaka. So it is going to be Kartari. So this is the Karta. So when the descent of weapons had proceeded, had started. So you see a Kta Pratyaha or Ktavatu Pratyaya taking Saptami in the connecting word, Karta or Karma, will take Saptami with it. And then there may be some adjectives with that. This is how you spot a Saptami. How to quickly spot a Saptami. Most of the time you Pratyakta or it may Pratyaktavatu, right? It doesn't have to be. It might be Shatru Pratyaya also. It can be Shatru Shanach also. It doesn't have to be Kta or Ktavatu. If you look at the Gita example, basically there will be some participle form in Saptami. And then connecting with that, the karma or karta is Saptami, and also the adjectives with the karta or karma will also be Saptami. Look at the Gita example right now, is Yascha Bhava, Ashtadhyaya example, Yascha Bhava in the Bhava Lakshanam. What example Ashtadhyaya is given? What does Kashika give? Goshu Dujyamana Sugataha. So he went when the cows were being milked. This is the present participle Shanach here, which is being used not or Ktavatu. This Shatru and Shanach also may be used. So this means that when the cows were being milked, he left. Dugdha Swagataha. So after they've been finished milking, after they were milked, he came back. Agataha. Agnishu Huyamaneshu Gataha. When the fires were being fed with oblations, he left. Uteshu Agataha. When the fires had been fed with the oblations, he came back. So this is, you can have the Pratyaya Shanach, you can have Shatru, you can have, this Pratyaya of course is the Kta Pratyaha, Tavatu, it will be in Saptami. The connecting Karta or Karma will be in Saptami, and also of course the adjectives of that. So there will be a string of Saptamis. Normally at least two will be there, maybe more. So here you have Uktavati Bhimadarshane Bhargave. That should immediately in your mind trigger something possibility of Sati Saptami. Because you had a Pratyaya Ktavatu here, we had the corresponding Karta, which has to be Saptami because Samadhikaranam, and the Visheshanam of the Karta also, Visheshanam Bhimadarshane Bhargave. And the word Sati also is a Shatru Pratyaya. This word Sati will be used in the commentary. In the commentary, the Sat Pratipadikam means being, this being the case, this being so. Sat means being, this being so. On this being the situation. then something else is going to happen there. So sati. So okay, so now let us okay, let's proceed. So Bhima Darshane Bhargave Evam Uktavati. Of course, Uktavati, the form is the Pratyakta has been used. Chohoku has been applied. Chohokuhu, Chohokuhu, Chohokuhu. Because the dhatu, and also Samprasaranam. Okay, we need to put this in the document. Ukta, Uktavat. So of course, Vach, I'll just put some, so I won't go through all the steps. Take dhatu Vach plus the Pratyaya Ktavatu, 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 Anubandhalope Tavat. Anubandhalope tavat, Anubandhalope tavat uktavat, because of course the lashakvatadjite, upadesha arjunanasikait, and then first lopaha. Now beyond this is done by 3 to 1 or 2 sutram nishtha. First thing idagamaha, so anidhatu, because of the in nishedha has been done by 7 to 10, because chanteshu. In the chakarant dhatushu, chanteshu, we have the dhatus pacha, mucha, richa, vacha. It's anid dhatu. So as a default, every dhatu will allow the idagamaha, but unless nishedha is done. And the 7 to 10 is the main sutram, which lists which dhatus, which are ending in a hal, will not allow the idagamaha. And conversely, which dhatu which are ending in an ach will allow idagamaha. So this is 7 to 10, which is Eka Chupadeshanudattat. So 7 to 10 is in Nishedha. Then we have to go to the, get Samprasaranam. Samprasaranam, which means that this Vakara will become an Ukara. When does that happen? There are 2 rules for that. First of all, what is Samprasaranam? What is Samprasaranam? It is Igyanas Samprasaranam. Igyanas, this one. Igyanas Samprasaranam. Reverse of Yan Sandhi. Igyanas Samprasaranam. In place of a yan, when you get an ik, it's called samprasaranam. In place of vakara, you get the ukara, samprasaranam. So when does it, this is only a sanya sutram, igyana samprasaranam. When does samprasaranam take place? There are 2 main rules, which is the vachi sapi yajadinam kiti and grahijya vayi vyadhi vashti vichati vrishchati prichati vrijjati nang niticha. These are 20 dhatus here. Vach is the very first, which is what we have right now. Dhatu swap, and the yajadis, navadhatavaha, there are 9 of them, which are in the bhvadigana. So the last 9 dhatus in the bhvadigana are yajadis. So these are a total of 11. Vachi, swapi, that's 2. Yajadis are 9, so total 11. Then grahi, ja, 1, 2, vayi, vyadhi, 4, vashti, 5, vichati, 6, prishchati, 7, prichchati, 8, prijjati nang niticha. Another 9. Now these 11 only times take samprasaranam kiti parataha. And this one takes samprasaranam kiti or niti. Kit or nit, either one of them. Right now with dhatu vach. So when you say samprasaranam out of your mouth, or when you look at like say Arjuna vacha, Tarashtra vacha, U vacha, in place of va, u has come. That is the next sutram, by the way. Next sutram. Liti abhyasasya ubhayesham is both of these lists. All these 20 take the samprasaranam in the abhyasa of lit. Dhritarashtra uvacha. Uvacha, that ukara is the abhyasa of lit. All 20 take samprasaranam. The moment you take something samprasaranam, think of these rules. Igyanas samprasaranam, 1145, the sanya sutram. Then think about vachi sapi yajadinam kiti, 6115. Then 16116, grahijya vai vyadhi vashti, vichati, vrishchati, prichchati, vrijjati nang niticha. Then liti abhyasasya ubhayesham. Now one more important thing is that is samprasaranacha. What happens here is that okay, let's put 2 steps over here. First thing is that we're going to get samprasaranam because we have a pratyaya which is kit. Vachi, sapi, yajadinam kiti, kit pratyaya, which we do have over here. So what we do get now is that we get the ukara. So what we have is we have va, ch, what we have like this right now. But sometimes always helps to break out the whole string, break out the whole, just to make it clear. This is what we have right now. So there is no idagamaha because of in nishedha by by 7 to 10, there's the in nishedha, in nishedha, in nishedha, in nishedha. Okay. And then what we get is that only the vakara becomes ukaraha by vachi sapi ajadinam kiti, vachi sapi ajadinam kiti. So this one. So that is 6.115. Now the akara is still there. The akara is still there. If we let it stay as it is, then we again have iko and achi. It will reverse samprasaranam. If we let this akara stay as it is, then again we get iko and achi, and the samprasaranam vyartham syat. Vyartham syat. It will be useless. Because if this u goes back to va, there's no point doing samprasaranam. So this akara has to be somehow dealt with. And that sutram is the samprasarana cha. Samprasarana cha. You know, this sutram which you have amipurvaha, which you use all the time, amipurvaha, pura parayoho, ekadesha is the pura rupam, amipurvaha. The next sutram is samprasarana cha. When samprasaranam is done, then there is ekadesha between that samprasaranam and the following acha. You'll get the pura parayoho, ekadesha is the pura rupam. Pura rupam ekadesha. So immediately think of, so this is when you hear the word samprasaranam, think of at least these three roles. First one is Igyana Samprasaranam, defines Samprasaranam. Second one is 6.115, Vachi Sapi Yajadinam Kiti. Third one is Grahijya Ityadinam Niticha. And the next one is 6.117, Liti Lityabhyasasya Bhayesham. And then Samprasarana Cha for the Karyam. You can do Samprasarana Cha. So 6.1, because you know Amipurva 6.1.107, Samprasarana cha, which is kind of obvious rule, says Samprasaranad achiparataha puraparayoho sthane pururupam ekadesha bhavati. So this ekadesha bhavati, so that will give us the form. So now we'll get this between this u and this there is a puraparayoho ekadesha is the pururupam. Ukaraha ekadesha. So now we get, you'll only get uchat. So this is going to be in the ekadesha. So we'll get samprasarana cha, and then of course use chohokuhu. Then use chohokuhu. The cha becomes the cha varga, takes the ka varga adesha jalipadante uktavati. So now what we have in the shloka is that is the evam bhargave uktavati sati bhimadarshane bhargave. Bhimadarshane bhargave. Now look at how beautifully he places the evam. Appreciate that. Because the evam goes with uktavati. So when or on bhargavaha parushuramaha. This is a, notice one more thing. There is no commentary on Bhimadarshane. There is no commentary. And there is no samasasya tika nasti chet ayam samasa spashta iti nyatavyam. This samasa should be easy for us. You don't have to stress too much. So of course Bhima means terrible. Darshana is a sight. So it's a simple Bahuvri compound. Bhimam darshanam yasya saha. Bhimam darshanam yasya saha. Bhimam darshanam yasya saha. One more, Bhimam darshanam yasya saha. No comment. We straightforward compound. We are not talking about the darshanam itself. We are talking about, first of all, you see here already it's obvious that Bhima darshane is samadhikaranam with bhargave. It's qualifying bhargave. So right there itself you already know that you have the anyapada pradhanatvam. You already know that because this is qualifying bhargave. So bhargava has pradhanyam, not this one, darshanam. Darshanam doesn't have pradhanyam. So immediately you get the hint. This must be Bahuvri compound. So bhimam darshanam yasya saha. Bhima darshane bhargave evam muktavati. So this evam is an adverb for the dhatu vach. The dhatu vach. So on bhargavaha, who was of terrible aspect, on his speaking thus, on his having spoken thus, on his having spoken thus, that thus is qualifying, is a kriya visheshanam really for the vach dhatu. And then he makes it very kind. He puts sati over here for us. See, our job in this class is to understand exactly what is Malinatha saying. That's our job. If you understand what Malinatha is saying, then you can understand what Kalidasa is saying. this is already the trick as we've taken many times, is that you have to take the adhikrita bhashyam atva adhikrita atika. So tadadharena eva granthasya abhiprayah jnayate. So you can get the abhipraya of the mula grantha only when you take it via the tika, the bhashyam. Of course, after you get some practice, get more and more practice, you can do on your own also, but still good to check with the tika. If you understand this much what is said here, then this will become easy for us on top. If you just look at this in the beginning, it will be a bit difficult. Just try to do step by step down here, So emuktavati sati. So this he already told you, we went through in detail. So this being the situation, this is one bhavaha, which is the bhava lakshanam, gives us the another bhavaha. Now what is second bhavaha is that this one ends over here. Now next thing comes down here. There's only one thing dantam padam, pratyapadyata, pratyapadyata, pratyapadyata. So let's see what Apteji gives the meanings of pratipad, pratipad, pratyapadyata. What's the vyakyanam here, Malinatha? Pratyapadyata angi chakara. If you don't want to scratch your brain too much, if you want to keep it, sukaram, then you accept what is given by Malinatha. You can do the angikara. You can do the angikara of the angi chakara. Because Malinatha says angi chakara. So you accept that angi chakara. And then you put in your memory bank. Put a memory bank that here the meaning of prati plus pad was angi kru. One more time. Prati plus pad, in this, at least in this shloka right here, means angi kru. So that you put that in your memory bank, and you if you see it coming again and again and again and again, then you understand that this is a common usage. So pratipad means in this shloka means angi kru. Angi kru. Pratipad means angi kru. And if you, as I said, if you don't want to go in more details, that's fine. You can just take it as it is and take it from there. What you should do, actually, you can do so in this verse. Prati. See, this dhatu upasarga sanyoga combination is very difficult, and grammar cannot help you here. You have to know the usage in the language, because Panini will not tell you the meaning of pratipad. You're supposed to know that already. See, Panini does not tell you how to speak or how to, I shouldn't say that. Panini will not tell you, the meanings and this and that. He already assumes that you know the basic language. He's only explaining to you how the rules work to give you the form which you already know. That's Panini's job. How it pratipadyata, how it came from there. What happened to it. The word pratipadyata you're already supposed to know yourself from before. But to know how it came, what rules are required to go behind it, then you go to Panini. So Panini will not tell you what pratipad means. That is supposed to be, puram eva jnatavyam. So we can know that pratipad means, so that's how we read this, we read, so you have to do both. You have to read this text like Gita, Ramayana, Raghuvamsham, Kavyam, whatever you want to do, and then also Kaumudi also, Siddhanta Kaumudi also, and then also read the rules which go behind that. So means angi chakara, angi chakara, angi chakara, angi kru, I'm sure, angi kru, angi kru, angi kru. That's the meaning here, angi kru. So pratipad means angi kru. Let's see what apte is. Now you can have some fun and see what does apte give for pratipad. Talking about pratipad. Pratipada also means the first day of the moon. Pratipada. It comes in the Lalita Sahasranama Stotram, right? Patipan Mukshara Kanta Tithi Mandala Pujita. Patipan Mukshara Kanta Tithi Mandala Pujita. She is worshipped from Patipat to the Raka Purnima. So then what you can do is that you can take the same form Pratipad and then test the other form that you know, that you may have seen in Gita or Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram or here and there. So Pratipad, Pratipadyate, Patipattihi. There's also a famous form, understanding, Patipattihi. Let's see what he says. To step. Dhatu pad is almost always used with the upasarga yogena. So, prayena upasarga yuktaha eva drishyata ayam dhatuho. This dhatu pad means to go. It has a very general meaning to go. If So if you look at, you can also look at dhatu pasha, just to have some, because these dhatus are the basic building blocks of the language. You have to have a fundamental understanding of what they are in order to be able to, this is what is made the language actually easy. In English there are a million words, but English is a record. English is a very difficult language. English is a record language because it has the most number of words, because it is just, using from here and there. To speak English is very difficult. You have to know all these words. I mean, when you take the SAT exam, you have to memorize them. With some of them you have some logic behind them, but here not so. If you know the dhatus, you can get a good, make a good stab at something which you never heard before. You can still make a good effort, good guess, I should say, on what it might be. So pad is padagatau. It says gatau, padagatau. It doesn't tell you much, padagatau. Unfortunately, dhatu par nirdesha doesn't give you much. But because upasarga yoga. So pratipad means to step. This is the basic meaning. Step or to go forward. Then to enter, pratipad. To arrive at, to attain. Now this is another different meaning. Pratipedire, to arrive at, to reach, to gain, to obtain, to share. So pratipad. To accept. This is the one. Angi chakara. To accept, take it, to take it. Pratipattum, swikartum. So now we know one meaning of pratipad is to accept, to recover, to admit knowledge, and to hold, to grasp, to consider, to undertake. Look at the number of meanings here. To hold, to grasp, to consider. Of course, you can see Kalidasa using all of them. Raghuvamsham here also. Raghuvamsham here also. So anyway, so there is a lot of these different meanings of pratipad. Pratipad has a number of meanings, but here the meaning is angikru, is to accept. In fact, actually, if you look at the very first shloka of Raghuvamsham, right? What does it say? Very very famous shloka. It says what? Vagartha viva samprukta vagartha pratipattaye. How about that? The very first shloka of Raghuvamsham, which is very very famous, very famous. So vagartha viva samprukta vagartha pratipattaye. In order to attain the knowledge of vaga and artha, vagartha pratipattaye. Jagatah pitarau vande parvati parameshwarau. Parameshwarau. A lot of tika. Let's see what Mulinatha gives over there. Pratipattaye. Vagartha ekam padam praktutau nitya sambandha jagato pitarau mata cha pita cha mata pitarau etena jagadadadada parvati cha parameshwarascha. Trying to get the exact. Pratipattaye shabdarthayoho samyak jnanartham, for understanding. So which is shabdarthayoho vagarthayoho shabdarthayoho. Pratipattaye is samyak jnanartham. So that's a different meaning there now. To attain the correct meaning, samyak jnanartham, to understand, for understanding. Anyway, so that is a very famous shloka in the Kavya Shastram, which is the very first shloka of Raghuvamsham, Vagartha Pratipattaye. So, but the same dhatu. You should then look at all these forms where pratipad has been used. In fact, when you look at pratipada, pratipat, as the first day of the new moon, of the moon, right? Pratipada, of the bright half of the moon, to enter upon, to take, to follow, to step, means to starting. It's the starting of the Shukla Paksha. Patipat. Patipat means like you step into it, That is the thing, to step. So anyway, these are the ways of pratipad. You should try to, know how these upasarga, yoga, affects the dhatu. So here it says, angi chakara. Okay, now what is angi chakara? What is angi? What is there? Okay, angi chakara. This is the pratyaya chvi. Pratyaya called chvi. And we see this ikaraha coming in place of an akaraha. That is the tip-off. So what is the tip-off over here is that you see that ikara adeshaha, akarasya sthane ikara adeshaha, and then kru bhu as sanyoge, kru bhu as yukte. So when there is the yoga with dhatu kru bhu or as, in any form it could be, it doesn't have to be tingantam. And the prior akara of something which looks like an upasarga over here, connecting with the verb, that has become ikaraha. then that next Spashtikaranam, Shuklikaranam, Shukli Bhavati, Vishadikaranam. These are all the, we can say Shukli Bhavati. How about Avyayi Bhavaha, compound, Vyakaranam, Avyayi Bhavaha. So what is going on here? What is this Angi? And how did it become like an Upasarga kind of thing? Okay, let's take, again, we have been doing the Saturday class. I'll give you a very brief survey, only won't spend too much time. Is that, we just talked about today, I think we before this sutram is Prag Rishwaran Nipataha. First of all, start from this sutram, 1137. Is Swaradi Nipatam Avyayam. Is that Avyayam equals Swaradi Gana and Nipatam also. Nipata Sanya starts from Prag Rishwaran Nipataha. Prag Rishwaran Nipataha. I always like to start from the basics, Rishwaran Nipataha. In that is sutram Pradayaha, which of course you've been getting many questions. I hope you've been looking at that in the weekend examples, all the many questions which are coming to you. And then, so you should please follow these, because this is where, because the class is limited time. So all these examples coming over here for you, which, talk about the, every day. We've already been giving many examples about Pradayaha and this and that, almost something will be here about, well, may not be this one, but yeah, see, Swaradigana, Chadigana, a lot of examples have been given for you. So please follow these examples. You can practice. Unless you practice, Abhyasena Griyate. There is no other way but to practice. So we already referred to this Pradaya, Upasarga Kriya Yoke. But right now we don't have Pradaya. We have Angi Chakara. Now, so the Pradaya get the Upasarga Sanya, Kriya Yoge, Nashmita verb. They also get the Gati Sanya Kriya Yoge. So why have two of the Sanya? Because when the Pradaya get as Kriya Yoge, they get the Upasarga Sanya. The same Pradaya, same condition Kriya Yoge, get another Sanya called Gati Sanya. The reason is that this Gati includes other items. Upasarga does not. Upasarga is only Pradaya Kriya Yoge. The same Pradaya Kriya Yoge get the Gati Sanya, but the Gati Sanya also comes in other places, other things. And one of them is of the sutram, Uryadi Chvida Chascha. Uryadi Gana. The Pratyaya Chvi and Da Chvida Chascha. Now, these get the Gati Sanya also. Anything ending in the Chvi Pratyaya gets the Gati Sanya. And why does that concern? What is Gati Sanya concern right now? What does that do for us, the Gati Sanya? What it does is that says Te Prag Dhatoho. Te Prag Dhatoho. They are used prior to the dhatu. Not only that, but by Kugati Pradaya, they can compound also. Like Svikritam, Svikartavyam, this can be compounded by Kugati Pradaya. So the Gati Sanya, they connect Te Prag Dhatoho, and they can be compounded if this is Subanta form with a Subanta Padam, Subantam Padam. Let me remind you one more thing from the Wednesday class now, is that when you talk about compounds, we are talking sup, supa. You need one sup, another sup. Right now we don't have that. We have Angi Chakara. This is a lit prayoga. It's Tingantam Padam. This is not a compound. Angi Chakara. Pratyaya Chvi you do have. This does have the Gati Sanya. And we get Te Prag Dhatoho. It will be used before a Dhatu. But this Angi Chakara is not a compound. But Angi Kritam is a compound. Because Krita is now a Kridanta Prayoga, it's Subantam. So Te Prag Dhatoho 1480, and then you also have Kugati Pradaya, 2218. But that is only if you have Subantam Padam to compound with. Right now we don't have that. So let me just put in document maybe. So now we need to get the form Angi. And what is this Pratyaya Chvi? And in what meaning is it used? So Angi Kru. So let me just put over here first of all that is Angi Chakara is not a compound. In fact, Bhim Sen Shastriji makes a point. You should not write them together, like keep a space in there. Of course, space has no meaning. But if you're going to put in a book in writing, do not put Angi and Chakara in the compound form. It is not a compound form. Chakara is not a compound. Because 2218 Kugati Pradaya does not apply here. because of the fact, the simple fact that chakara is a tingantam padam. Chakara is tingantam, very fundamental idea. Tingantam na samasyate. Tingantam na samasyate. Very simple, important thing. Tingantam na samasyate. You cannot say aham agacchami. I am not going. You cannot say that. That's not a compound. You cannot do this kind of compound. So chakara is a tingantam padam. Is a tingantam. So tingantam means that this tingantam, and to form compounds you need a subantam. To form compounds, sup-supa. To form compounds, general rule is sup-supa. This supa, you need it. This is a subantam. So sup-supa. Okay. Now the okay, angi. How does angi come from? The sutram is 5450. Yes.
Angikrutam will be a compound.
Yes, will be a compound. Okay, maybe we'll put that. Angikrutam will be a compound. Angikrutam, angikartavyam. So those are compounds. So, but for angikrutam will be a compound. So krutam is now a krut pratyaya. So krut is a samasascha with pratipadika sanya. Then supo, and then then suo just will come. So if you angikrutam, that will be a compound. That will be a compound. Angikrutam is a compound. Samasa, compound. Okay, angi. What's happening here is that you take the pratipadikam anga. Anga means your body or limb. So to make it your own, angi chakara means he accepted. That means made it part of himself. Anga is like your body, yourself. So you make it yourself. Make it you. To make it, part of you. Anga pratyaya plus chvi is coming. Chvi. This chvi is coming by sutram 5450. This is that adbhuta tadbhave. Means that which was not so before being made so. Which was not so before being made so. Then krubhasti yoge. Very important. Krubhasti yoge. Pratyaya can only be used on the condition that you're going to be using kru, bhu or us with it. Sampadya kartari chvihi. So when that is being accomplished, then the pratyaya chvi is being used. The chvihi. This is a bit of complicated term. Just leave it for today. Let's not go and take the whole class otherwise. Sampadya kartari chvihi. So chvi is a zero. So one more time. It's something which was like shukli karanam. Something which was not white is being made white. Okay? And this pratyaya is going to be used only on the condition that the kru, bhu or us is going to come with it. And the pratyaya chvi. So when this is the being done, then this pratyakam is chvihi is coming there. Now chvi is a zero, of course, by what? By chutu. Chakara is nitsanya by chutu. And then this is a sarvapahara lopa. What they call sarvapahara lopaha. Sarvapahara means remove the whole thing. Sarvapahara lopaha. Sarvapahara lopaha. And that comes by 137 chutu. Chakara is sanya. Then upadesha nasika it. Ikarasya it sanya. And then the vakara becomes aprukta vakara. Aprukta ekal pratyaya goes by virapuktasya. The vakara also takes lopaha. The vakara is not an it takes lopaha. Now, so what happens is that you get the same form back. The same form anga you get back again. So anga plus chvi again becomes anga only. And now comes the operation which is asya chvau. That which is the lingam, the indication that you have the pratyaya chvi in there is if you akarantam if you have, then because of pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam, the chvi is still there, you get asya chvau. Asya chvau is the avarnantasya angasya. So asya chvau, avarnantasya angasya, get the ikara anuvritya of e when the chi pratyaya follows. So this is that the ikara coming asya chvau. As I told in the beginning, how do you spot this chi? How do you spot it? First thing is that the should be krubhu asti yoge, number one. If it's not krubhu asti yoge, it's not chi. Second thing is that something which is not that it should be made that. Angi chakara, spashtikaranam, which something which was not clear is made clear. Spashtikaranam. Now the third thing is that if you have an avarnanta mangam, avarnanta asya, then that avarna becomes the ikaraha. So it becomes, that's also very common. Like that says Spashtikaranam, Vishadikaranam and all that. Now, one more thing which Nagarajji told me a few classes ago. See, I learned the most in all the classes. I learned the most is this one, Chvaucha. If you have a Ajantam Angam, like Tanu Karanam, Tanu Shuchi Karanam, is making pure. Something which is not pure, you make pure. So Suchi Karanam. Suchi is of course pure, but you make it Dirgha, Suchi Karanam. Tanu means thin or trim. Tanu Karanam means you trimming down something, trimming down. Tanu Karanam, make it trim. So these two, these will help you identify when the chva has come. So one more time, should be Krubu Asti Yoge, Angi Chakara. Chakara is there. Secondly, the meaning is that Abhuta Tadbhave, something which was not there is being affected now. Third thing is that look at, do you have a Avarnantam Angam? Then you should get the Ikaraha. Do you have an Ajantam Angam? You should get the Dirghaha. These will, you can quickly spot, like Svikaroti, Svikartavyam. How it Swa becomes Svi. That's the telltale of the Chvi Pratyaha. This one, Asya Chvau. Asya Chvau. So by 7/4/32, Asya Chvau. So hopefully when you learn this one time, next time you can. So the Avarnantasya Angasya, of course, alone Tasya Paribhasha, and we're going to get the form Angi. And then of course after that, so this we ought to use it. We have used Asya Chvau, and then of course you also keep in mind the Shvau, which Nagarajji told me many classes back, which I had forgotten the sutram. I call it the Nagaraj Sutram, Chivaucha, because, sometimes when the student, when someone in the class reminds me Sutram, I have to remember it by that person's name also. That Sutram which I forgot those Sutram which I forget in the class, I remember those very well afterwards. Because when I stumble someplace, I can, you remember those. Unless you try on your own. And if I just keep on telling you this, you'll understand less. Then if you try on your own to do something, and then you are told, then you remember that, So Jnanasya Adarha Jayate. Jnanasya Adarha is so prayatnena. You try on your own, then you understand, then that will help you remember. So 7/4/32 is Asya Chvau, of course, alone Tasya, Tasya, and then on top of that, now because of Teparag Dhatoho, you either use the, so you got the Gati Sanya by Uryadi Chvida Chascha. Uryadi Chvida Chascha. Get the Gati Sanya. Uryadi Chvida Chascha. 61. Gati Sanya Teparag Dhatoho. This is Chviyantam. Chvi is a Pratyaha. And Chvi means Tadantam, ending in Chvi Pratyaha. It's the Gati Sanya 1/4/61. Teparag Dhatoho 1/4/80. And then 1/4/61, 1/4/80. I know you're spending a lot of time. You're going to go through all these steps, the same steps when you have the Chvi Pratyaha. 1/4/80. That you get, so then, and then Chakara. So you get Angi. And Chakara, of course, is Lit Lakara. We won't go through all the steps. We've done this many times in the class already now. So we have to start with the first, and of course, by the way, Vane is going to his daughter's place in Seattle, so he's not there for 1 or 2 weeks. His daughter had a Prasuti, had a new child, so had a baby, I should say. So he's going to Seattle. He will join us from there when he's there. But right now he's in transit. Anyway, so the reason I remember Vane, because Vane has the first 4 steps, right? It's Dhatu plus Lakaraha. So Kuru plus Lit. Then of course do the Harantyam Upadesha Nasika Tip Tasji. Vivaksha here is Sri Rama is a Karta, Kartriyarthe, Pratham Purushasya Ekavachanam. So we can Pratyat Tip. I'm not putting steps on the board because, this very, very, we done many times now already. So Kru plus Lit is the starting point, and then we go through the steps, bring Tip. Now in place of Tip comes the Pratyar Null, which also we see many times. Paraswami Padeshu, so in Paraswami Padana, what's this? See, this is when I forget the sutram. It's 3, 4. So see, I said this after Tip Tasji. If you look at the remaining of 3.4, I've mentioned this many times. Bahuvara Muktamaya is the lit. So Lakar Sambandhi Adesha Kartavya. So after Tip Tasji, immediately do the Lakar Sambandhi Adesha. And the Paraswami Padanam Nal Atus Us Thal Atus Nal Vamaha. And because lit is Parokshe lit. Lit is used in the sense of an action which has not been experienced by the doer. Now, who the speaker here is Mallinatha. Always be careful to identify who is the speaker. Who is the speaker here? It is Mallinatha. He's saying Angi Chakara. Is his commentary on that. His commentary. Actually, technically speaking, the speaker is Kalidasa because Pratyapadyata. Now, one more subtle thing, by the way. One more subtle thing what Mallinatha has done here is a Pratyapadyata is a Lang Lakara form. The Mallinatha changed that. He changed it to a lit Lakara. See how he did that? So he gave the meaning, first of all, he did two things for us. He gave the meaning of Prati plus Pad equals Angi Kru. The first thing which he did. Second thing, he changed the Lang Lakara to a lit Lakara. See, normally he has no business to do that. Normally he should maintain the same Lakara. So Mula Pathe Yatha Prayuktaha Lakara. So Saiva Lakara Prayoktavyaha Tikayamapi. It should be the same Lakara. But he didn't do that. He changed it. Now what did he change that for? Because he knows that this when it is Parokshe, lit should be used. Lit should be used. So even though Kalidasa says Pratyapadyata, because see in the Mula Patha you have some liberties. That's why I always tell you, if you really want to learn the Shishta Prayogaha, you should look at Mallinatha more than Kalidasa. Because Kalidasa, may have some issue with the Chandas and the this and the that. He has the license. Kalidasa has the license to change the forms. Well, somewhat. Mallinatha doesn't have that license. He's only commenting. So there's no reason we should change that. If you want to learn the real Siddha Prayogaha, should use like the, Shankara Bhashyam. You can use the Mahabhashyam. By the way, the Mahabhashyam on the Ashtadhyayi. That is the final word in Shishta Prayogaha. Whatever comes in the Mahabhashyam, it even overrides the Ashtadhyayi. Because that is every single word in the Mahabhashyam is the Pramanam. Is Pramanam. So whatever Patanjali says in the Mahabhashyam, that is correct. It is 100% assumed to be correct. That is the way we are supposed to speak and read. So the Mahabhashyam is the ultimate word in Shishta Prayogaha. See, ultimately we have to the Pramanam. What is correct? What is the correct word? So here, and similarly, when you talk about Shridhari Tika, or you talk about, Madhya Dhatu Vritti, you talk about Siddhanta Kaumudi, talk about Tattvabodhini Tika, talk about Shankara Bhashyam. Of course, Shankara Bhashyam is not about Vyakaranam, Vedanta. So it's slightly different. But still there also. He will not use anything which is, Apananiyam. It is not, Vyakarana Sammatam. But that's Vedanta, so that's very different. But in Tika on the Vyakarana Grantha, that is with the Mahabhashyam on the top, that is your real authority for what is Shishta Prayogaha. And then of course the Kavya Grantha also below that. Because when Apte also quotes, he'll quote from Siddhanta Kaumudi. Because Siddhanta Kaumudi or Mahabhashyam, something was said. That is Pramanam for us. So here, even though Kalidasa has put Lang Lakaraha, Mallinatha says, I'm going to correct that to a lit Lakaraha because Parokshe lit. So notice that change. Normally speaking, the Tikakara will maintain the same Lakaraha. He will give a different dhatu, give a different way, but he will not change Lakara like that. But here he has changed that. Angi Chakara because we seen this before also, because of Parokshe lit, 32115. Any pratyaya which you add, always ask the question, Kasmin arthe ayam pratyaya prayuktaha sada prashtavyam. You got the form Chakara, so you are done. You are finished. You don't need anything. No, that's not the case. What is the meaning of Chakara? What does it mean? Parokshe lit means it happened at a time or place where the speaker could not experience it. Not experienced by the Parokshe. Parokshe means indirect. It is not within the purview of the speaker. Parokshe lit. Now Tiptaji comes, and then comes the Pratyaya null by null atus us. And one more thing, because of Parokshe lit, the good news of Parokshe lit is that the Asmakam Saubhagyam, Saukaryam jatam Asmakam, atra I should say. because that means it's easy. Easy because parayana, pratham purusha prayogaha udrishyante. Pratham purusha prayogaha, pratham purusha. Only pratham purusha is seen. To be parokshe means that you cannot say aham chakara, chakara. So how would you say that? So you cannot do that, because if I didn't experience it, then how can I say I did it? You can once in a while. In Gita, there's one place Arjuna says, Anushruma. It's one place in Gita Arjuna says Anushruma. That is one prayogaha in Gita. It is not Bhagavan Uvacha. It's Arjuna Uvacha. And I think I told you this kind of a joke, is that in the Gita press in one place says Arjuna forgot his Vyakaranam class in the heat of the battle. Vyakaranam Vismrutam Arjuna. He forgot the Vyakaranam. So because he says Anushruma, Aho Batam, he'll be right here in the first adhyaya itself. Arjuna says, Aho Batamahat Papam Kartum Yavasitavayam Rajasukalobe Nahatum Sajanamudjataha. Here, Anushruma. This is a Uttam Purusha, Litlakaraha. Arjuna says, so we have heard repeatedly that, there's all these dosha, Urukta doshaha, we have heard repeatedly. Now, how did he hear when he wasn't there? When he couldn't experience it? That's the problem. So this normally means that you were out of your mind, or you were maybe, bhrantaha, some other way. So pramadaha jataha. But this is not the meaning here. This litlakar has been used in Uttam Purusha is very, 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 very rare. And the joke they make on poor Arjuna is that in the battle he is now completely confused about the Dharma Shastra and Vyakana Shastra api mudha. I shouldn't say that, but anyway, that's some of the people comment like that. But this is our job is made easy by the fact that paroksha lit means only third person. That means that even this long sutram is saying tiptas, nal atus us. Take only the first three. Nal atus us, nal atus us. So tiptas ji iti etesham sthane. So litaha, when they are in place of lit. When tiptas ji come in place of lit, they become nal atus us. Atus us becomes null. Of course, in pratyaya null, we have the chutu halantyam anubandha lope akaraha. Anubandha lope akaraha. So we get only a. And then, of course, we do the achonyati, angakaryam. This is a Paninian style. First of all, he puts pratyaya in place in chapter 3, 4, or 5. Dhato is chapter 3. That's all he does. In this meaning, this pratyaya is to be used after dhatu in chapter 3 and after pradipadikam chapter 4 or 5. And after that, the pratyaya might take some adesha or something, if possible. The angam might take some karyam. That's the angasya adhikara in 6.4 and the 7th chapter. So one more time, the pratyaya vidhanam is coming in chapter 3, 4, 5, Ashtadhyaya. And with third chapter is dhatoho. So that's third chapter. That's the parokshe lit. After that, the lit took an adesha of tip, and tip took an adesha of null. Don't skip these steps. Do not skip these steps. Why not skip them? Because the fact that tip came in between first, because of sthanivat bhavaha, null is also a pit pratyaha. Because in place of la, I should say, la came tip, place of tip came null. Don't skip that middle step, because your sthanivat bhavaha. Anything which comes leaves behind a residue. It leaves the bhava, which is that it's a pratyaha. It says sanyas sarvadhatukam. It is pit pratyaha. So all these properties are left behind. Something which comes, even if it gets replaced, it doesn't matter. It leaves behind the pratyaya lakshanam. Lakshana properties are left behind. So the tip came, it left behind the property of the pitvam. It left behind. So anyway, so kru plus becoming the which is first tiptas ji. After that coming the 3, 4, 82, and of course use chutu halantyam, and we get Now one more small detail is that why not put these two, 3, 4, 78 and 82 in the pratyaya adesh prakarane? In 7.1, Panini starts this thing about the pratyaya adeshaha. For example, ato bisais, right? We have seen all these in the class already. Niryaha, sarvanamna smai, nyasinyo smatsmino, jasashi, aunga apaha, tapusakacha, jashasoshi, ashtabhya, aush, shadbhyo, look, samo napunsakat. Now all these are pratyaya taking changes. The pratyaya is being replaced by something else. Now, how come then this sutram, which is talking about the lit being replaced by tiptasji is coming here, but this one, how about 3482? Is talking about the adesh of null in place of tip. What's the pratyaya adesha? Why not put it in 7.1? The answer is that it's a lakara sambandhi adesha. Lakara sambandhi adesha is nitya karyam. So Panini wants to finish this off as one group together. This 3478 and remaining of 3.4, most of it, lakara sambandhi adesha nitya karyani. So pratamam eva kartavyani, pratamam eva kartavyani. So you do not look anywhere else. The moment you apply 3478, immediately apply all these. Then only you look ahead to the angasya adhikara. Don't leave this one. So these are put right there because they basically take 3478 and they modify these 18 pratyayas in some way based on lakara itself. It doesn't have any connection, it doesn't depend on anything else. If you know the lakara, immediately you know this adesha. So these lakara sambandhi adesha don't come in 7.1, they come in 3.4 below this tiptasji. And then finally, now we need to go to 7th adhyaya and make it achoniti. Achoniti. Now angasya adhikara. So this is the Paninian style. Put the pratyaya in place, do some pratyaya adesha maybe, then go to angakaryam, which is the 6471727074. So now we get the vriddhi, achoniti, uranraparaha. Oh, I'm sorry, before that we forgot one thing. We forgot the abhyasa. Let me put that over here, which is the little dhatu abhyasa here. So we get the abhyasa, we get the cha in the abhyasa. We forgot to do that. Abhyasa karyam. Little dhatu and abhyasa. There are only in Ashtadhyayi only 4 rules. We talk about abhyasa. 4 main rules, and the first one is this one. 6.1. Liti dhatoho anabhyasasya. The lit pratyaya follows anabhyasasya dhatoho. The dhatu which has not taken abhyasa already will take abhyasaha. Liti dhatoho anabhyasasya, then sangyangoho, and then shlau and changi. These 4 rules. When you say abhyasaha, think of these 4 rules. Liti dhatoho anabhyasasya. In abhyasa karyani, we've seen this many times. So here you will get, first of all, you will get the dhatu is kru, you get kuhosh chuhu, the kru becomes chru, and then you also get the urat. Urat in place of the ru varna, you get the akara adeshaha. And uran raparaha become, I'm going a little bit fast now because we've seen many times before, so the kru will become kar, because the ru becomes akaraha, uran raparaha becomes kar. The kar becomes char because of the kuhosh chuhu. In haladish sheshaha, the repha will go because the hal can remain only if it's the first member. So let me put this chakara abhyasaha, iti dhatu anabhyasa. This is abhyasa vidhanam, iti dhatoho anabhyasasya. Iti dhatu anabhyasasya 648. And then we do the kuhosh chuhu, then urat rikarasya sthane akaradeshaha raparaha, uran raparaha, haladisheshaha. And finally over here, we have to use the achoniti, uran raparaha again over here also, uran raparaha, angi chakara, angi chakara, because of the achoniti. If you have a pratyaya which is the cha varga panchama nakara is in it, or the ta varga panchama nakara is in it, then it causes the vriddhi of the ending ach, in this case uran raparaha. So the ru becomes r by the achoniti atopadhaya. The moment you have pratyaya which is the nya or the na is in it, always think of these two, which is achoniti uran raparaha. So they form chakar. So then that's on the tika itself, not in the mula patha. So angi chakar. So angi, asya chvau. One more time. If you see this long ikaraha coming in place of the avaranaha, followed by the kru, bhu or us, start suspecting the pratyachvi. Now, pratyapadyata, let it straightforward. Prati apadyata, the lang lakaraha. Lang lakaraha, you see the adagamaha. Learn to spot the adagamaha. Very, very useful. That adagamaha will come immediately before the dhatu, not before upasarga. Upasarga is putak padam. The prati upasarga is putak padam. It will not participate, it will not interfere with the adagamaha. You first get the form apadyata, then put prati as coming before as prutak padam, as a separate word. So the apadyata will be the form. So don't get mixed up by the sandhi or pratyapadyata. Remove the upasarga out. Then see what you have left. Apadyata. And of course, you know Sutram 6471, lung lang rung kshwa do dattaha, which means that lung lang rung kshu. Only in 3 lakaras you get the adagamaha, lung lang rung. And within that, the rung is very rare and easy to spot. The pratyay takes the pratyasya. The pratyasya can be seen in that because of the shatasi lutoho. Shatasi lutoho. So rung is very easy to spot, very, very rare. You'll have the sya in that. So normally it comes down to these two, lung and lung. Now the lung, when the let's say the lung, which is the easier one. And lung, when you put the tipta ji pratyaha, you will get the gana vikaranam in between there, shapt, etc. If the gana vikaranam is there, then you know your lung lakaraha. The gana vikaranam is not there, lung lakara. If you make it even simpler for you, look at the lat form. The form in the lat, the same angam, if you have with the adagamaha, then it is lung lakaraha. Of course, this has some exceptions, but as a general rule, anga karyam will be the same as, because lat is prasiddhani rupani. Like you say padyate. It comes in Gita. In naitatva upapadyate. Okay. Kutastva kashmanamidam vishame samupasthitam. Anaryajushtam asargyam akirti kardam arjuna. Klebhyam masmagamah partha. Chapter number 2. Shloka number 3. It comes over here. Flabhyam masmagamah partha naitatva upapadyate. Padyate. Latlakaraha. This is not fitting for you. Upapadyate. Again, dhatu pad. Upasarga upa. This is not befitting for you. And you should be unmanly like that. Don't go to unmanliness. This is not befitting for you. So this is not good for you. Upadyate. The padyate form latlakara, you know, the same angam padya which you know from the Gita is coming here. It says pratyapadyata. This is lang lakaraha. Lang lakara. It says the gana vikaranam shyan is coming here. By the way, starting from the next Saturday class, from this coming Saturday class onwards, for the next year and a half, we're doing the Tingandam Prakaranam, which is the heart of Panini and the heart of the language, because ekating vakyam. If you want to practice, if you want to download whatever, you can do that. So this is from next Saturday class for the next year and a half, we'll be doing the Tingandam Prakaranam, which is like this kind of the pinnacle of Ashtadhyayi, so to speak. Once you know that, remaining will be downhill. Tatpaschat Sukaram. This is going to be easy. Because the Tingandam Prakaranam has a lot of interactions, Angakaryani Bahuni Santi, a lot of Angakaryani. So if you can master the Tingandam Prakaranam, it will give you a lot of confidence. After that, you can pretty much learn on your own after that also. That's the next year and a half in Saturday class, from next Saturday class. Okay, Pratyapadyata, the Gana Vikaranam, because now Gana Vikaranam, what Gana Vikaranam is when based on the Gana, depending on which section of the Dhatu part Dhatu is, you get some change, Dhatu changes. So you get a Vikaranam. This is a Pratyaya, I shouldn't say Dhatu changes. You get a Pratyaya in between there, which is going to make a change. And that is Kartari Shap is the default here. So Divadibhyasyan. This Dhatu Pad in Divadi Ganaha, Pratyasyan, Akula Shakvatadite Halantyam. Halantyam. Ya Shabda is Ya. So Yakara Kara. Ya. So by 3169, I'm just going to put some so it's a very straightforward form. The important thing is to know the Ragamaha and then try to break the tie between the lung and the lat. the same, lung and the lung. Lung and the lung. This is the same angakaryam as in lat, I'm sorry. Same angakaryam as in lat, then which is should be well known to us, padyate, then you know this is most likely a lung. If you just know simply that much. So why do we do this? Why do we go this roundabout way? Why not derive the lung lakar also? Because lung has complications. Lung has many complications. And to understand that, you're going to spend a lot of time. If you can just make the distinction between lung and lung, and you can weed out the lung, then you can focus on the lung, and you can then go into details. But if you just want to get the basic meaning, understanding, see the adagama is there, it's a past tense form, assuming lung is not there. Adagama is there, lung, lung. Lung you can identify quickly by taking angakaryam. Gana vikaranam is there or not. Then if you have to come to lung, then you have to then go and find out the specific rules. So if you just, because that's why we take the roundabout way, because of the, lung lakara prakriyayaha, this is prakriya dushkara prakriya. It is hard to do. Lung lakara prakriya is dushkara. It is difficult, a lot of complications. So apadyata. So this is going to be, of course, you start with lakara lung. Lung is anadhyatane lung. So the same bhutayadhikaraha anadhyatane lung. Next sutra, C2111, and then okay, then you've got tiptas G, of course, as usual. Pratyata came in. In the meanwhile, you got the gana vikaranam. This is only sarvadhatuke kartari. Gana vikaranam only comes sarvadhatuke kartari, C169. Adagamaha by 6471. Lung 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 shva do dattaha. Now what is left over here now? So pratyapadyata, meaning is angi chakara. Prati plus pad in this instance means to accept. So he accepted that. He accepted. Now accepted what? Accepted what? First of all, yes, he has a adjective to him. Raghavaha smita kampita adharaha. Adharaha is his lips. Adharaha. Adhara means also me. Just look at apte, what the meaning apte gives for adharaha. Adhara. Let's look at adhara. One of the meaning is the lip. Adhara means the lip. Adhara. So adhara means means lower also. Adjective means lower. Uttara adhara. Adhara means lower. But also means adharaha. Adharaha means the neither, sometimes, or the upper lip. Means the lip in general. Lip in general can mean adharaha. So adharaha is again a Bahuvri compound, because the Uttara Padam is adharaha, doesn't have pradhanyam. Uttara Padasya pradhanam nasti. This clearly not, this is not dvandva clearly, it's not avyabhavaha. Most of the time it's between Tatpurusha and Bahuvri. Uttara Padam is adharaha. That is not the pradhanyam. So the Vigrahavakyam is that smitena, hasena, vikampita adharaha. So first made the compound smita kampita. Smiten, sorry, vikampita. First made vikampita you should make. Vikampita gati samasaha. Gati pradayaha. We talked about this upasargas kiyayoge. Pradaya get the gati sanya, they can compound with a partial form. So vikampita is a gati samasaha. Then make it smitena vikampitaha. Smitena vikampitaha. On account of smiling. So Shri Rama, when he heard this challenge, he kind of smiled. And by smiling, his lips was kind of a little bit kampitaha, chanchalaha, his kind of shaking. Because, his lip was kind of quivering of his smile. He couldn't stop his smile. So smita vikampita adharaha. Smitena vikampitaha adharaha yasya saha. Son, being thus, being so, he replied. Son means being so. This is Shadru Pratyaha. So smitena. Now this pratyaya nishtha which we just saw. So one more time. This vikampita is a gati samas kugati paradayaha. Smitena vikampita titya tatpurushaha. By this sutram which is the kartukarne krita bahulam. Kartukarne krita bahulam. Any samasa has to be done in 2.1, 2.2. In that from 2122 to 2222 tatpurushaha. In that we find a sutram which is kartukarne krita bahulam. Kartukarne krita bahulam. So that says that if your kartu or karana, then you can take a participle form and we can compound it in many ways. So Kartikarane Krita Bahulam Tatpurushaha. So here in Tatpurushaha you find Kartikarane Krita Bahulam 2132. So you want to put in the document here, he says Smita. So Smitena Vikampitaha. So this one is going to be Smita. First make it Vikampitaha. Make that one. Take that one first. Vikampitaha. Vikampita. That is going to be the Kugati Pradaya. Then when you tack on Smita Vikampita, that is going to be the Katkarane Krita Bahulam. Katkarane Krita Bahulam. So that is going to be Smitena. Smita Vikampita. Smitena Vikampitam. Smita Vikampita is going to be 2132. Katkarane Krita Bahulam. And then finally, when you do Smita Vikampita Adharaha, it's going to be Anekam Anya Padarte. Anya Padarte is going to be Vikampitaha Adharaha. One good news is that I told you, if you form a Tatpurusha compound, if it's becoming a part of a bigger compound, then you can leave out the Pura Padam. Because Smita Vikampita was a Tatpurusha compound, it became part of a bigger compound, which is Vikampita Adharaha. You can leave out Smita after that. You don't need Smita anymore because Smita Vikampita has the Pradhanyam in Uttara Padam. So this has a Pradhanyam. Take the Pradhana Padam. Leave this one out now. You don't need this one anymore. You can simply make it Vikampitaha Adharaha Yasyasaha. Now Smita. We talked about this Pratyakta in the beginning of the class today. Now is this a noun or an adjective? Very important thing. Is this sutram nishtha which we used before, which we had in the beginning of the shloka itself, we had that uktavati bhargave, uktavati bhargave, that creates adjectives. Uktavati is qualifying bhargave. Here smita is a noun, not an adjective. The same pratyakta also comes in other meaning. So I always tell you, when you add a pratyaha, in what meaning is it coming? Always ask that. Because you got the form smita doesn't mean you got the meaning of it. This is a neuter noun. It's a very important thing. The same pratyakta, which is also prasiddha pratyaha. So visheshanattvena prasiddha. Visheshanattvena, because it is an adjective form. But you may have a neuter noun. But the same pratyaha. So what has Mulinatha done for us, by the way? Look at what he does. Very beautifully he does that for us. First of all, he gives the vigraha vakyam of smitena vikampita. Now, is that the real provision of the tika? Is that the real objective of Mulinatha's comment? He put in between there hasena, because this hasaha is a masculine noun. So he's making clear for you very kindly that this smita is not the adjective of sutram nishtha. He's telling you hasena. So, and sometimes the commentator might give is that napumsake bhavektaha. Bhavektaha. I know we don't have time right now, but this bhave in the sense of an abstract noun. So you might sometimes the commentator might say bhavektaha. Sometimes even before that, the Nashtadhyay, only one pada where Panini forms these nouns from verbs. Only one single pada, mainly Panini gives nouns from verbs, 3.3. So the very fact that we are in 3.3, not in 3.2, should alert you, probably we have a noun, not an adjective. Napumsake bhavektaha is bhave, abstract noun. So same pratyaktaha is also being used by 3.2, prescribed by nishtha, 3.2.102. Nishtha is taktavatu, both, be careful. Taktavatu nishtha. But also nishtha sanya it has, nishtha sanya. That is being used, napumsake bhavektaha. Now what has Mulinatha done for us? Mulinatha is saying that hasena. Now what is the word hasaha is also bhave. So what Mulinatha is saying is this is bhave. Pratyaya is bhave. So this one is hasa is a pratyaya ghai, which comes bhave also. So this one which is ukta is for napumsake bhavektaha as a neuter noun and 3333. Napumsake bhavektaha. Napumsake bhavektaha 33114. So he's making it very clear for you very kindly. So this vigraha vakyam is not that difficult, but he wants to make sure you understand this is smita is not qualifying somebody who's smiling. Smita is a neuter noun, so he puts hasena. Now, this is unambiguous. Hasak is not an adjective ever, always a noun. So when from this he's telling you napunsake bhavektaha. So you don't appreciate what he's trying to tell you. If you know some vyakaranam, if you know some, then you can pick up some more points. If you miss some of them, otherwise it looks kind of trivial, isn't it? Otherwise, if you look at the commentary, it looks trivial. Let me tell you one more thing. When the commentary looks trivial, you look deeper. There's something you might be missing over there. When the commentary looks too trivial to you, look deeper. Look very carefully. What is being said? You might be missing something in the commentary. So this smitam is a neuter noun by 33114 napunsake bhave taha, not by 3212 napuns. That's not the nishtha pratyaya. So again, the noun has to be neuter. Okay. So if it's going to be a neuter, it's going to be a noun. This should be neuter. So hasena vikampita adaraha. Now tad dhanur grahanam eva samartham equals uchitam uttaram pratipadyata angichakara. So uttaram angichakara. He accepted this as a response. And samartham is the uchitam in this case. Samarthaha. Samarthaha has various meanings. Samartha can mean capable also. But here uchitam. So this is a different meaning. Uchitam. We look at apte very quickly. Samartham is in this case uchitam. So that is the one meaning of samarthaha. That which has kind of a purpose, which has got its purpose. So is samarthaha. It's proper samarthaha. Samartha in this case uchita samartha. Samartha is capable to believe. This is a verb samarthaha. Next 10-3 samarthaha. Strong, competent, capable, suitable. This means normally means competent, capable, qualified. Also fit or suitable. So samartham. Then what was the uttaram? Tad dhanur grahanam. No commentary. What's the commentary here? Is tad dhanuhu. Shashti tat purushaha. Tasya parashuramasya bhargavasya dhanuhu tad dhanuhu. Advan dhanus pratipadikam. Then tasya grahanam. You got this. So that's why there is no commentary. Because this shashti samasasya prayena vigraha vakyam na diyate spashtatvat. The shashti tatpurusha is the most common compound. So here you have one shashti tatpurusha, tad dhanu is tasya dhanuho, tasya bhargavasya dhanuho. If you want to look at some of the other books, they'll give you in a more detailed commentary. So if you look at the other book which I have, it says tasya dhanushaha grahanam, tasya dhanuho and tasya dhanushaha grahanam. So grahanam means again the same pratyaya, by the way. Same pratyaya, napunsake bhavektaha. So no, sorry, no, take it back. Napunsake bhavektaha, anuvritti of lyutya. The next sutram, lyut gives ana. You becomes ana by 711. Also an abstract noun. In the neuter, pratyaya lyut has been used, but different pratyaya, CC115. So very straightforward compound. Tasya bhargavasya dhanuho, then tasya dhanushaha grahanam eva. So that itself was the proper response. So Sri Rama accepted that, regarded that as the proper response. First of all, when on Bhargavaha Purusharamaha, who was of a very fierce aspect, when he had spoke on his speaking, on his having spoken thus, Sri Ramaha, whose lip was kind of shaking because he couldn't hide his smile, Smita Vikampita Adharaha, he regarded a fitting response would be grabbing his bow itself. Rather than speaking anything, his response will be only to grab the bow. He didn't want to say anything. So if you look at, in fact, it's not given. So, prativachanam, pratipadyata, you said, natu mukhena kinchidapi uktavan ityarthaha. Natu mukhena kinchidapi uktavan. Natu mukhena kinchidapi uktavan. He didn't say anything at all. He just smiled and he grabbed the bow. So that is what is the fit response for this challenge. Not to say anything back, but to look. Okay, let's bring our Adikrita Anuvadakara. Namaskara. So, Nagaraji,
Namaste, Sadhji.
I have sutram by your name, Nagaraji. Shwaucha.
I know.
This sutram has your name on it.
I had forgotten it, and then you reminded me to.
You have to have a copyright. Anybody uses sutram Shwaucha has to pay a tariff to Nagaraji for this sutram. Okay, anyway, it's very good. I was impressed by it. Tanu Karanam. Okay, let's go to the, we're out of time right now. Let's go to the, so Alam Parihasena. So enough of jokes. Let's go to the, okay, so this one is, okay, let me find the right page for you. Okay, where is that now? I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, let me just minimize the other windows. Okay. I'm trying to find the translation here. Okay. Okay, let me see. I'm sorry, I'm not able to open it right now. Okay, let me see if I can bring it here. Okay, I'm sorry. My browser is having problems. Okay, let me try one more thing. Let me just close this thing down. Close this down. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, let me do something here because I was able to. Let me open it up again. Give me 1 second. Okay, pictures. Yeah. Vilambanam kshamyatam. Excuse the delay. Technical difficulty here. The right page for you. It's not opening. Okay, I guess I don't want it to open for me. Open with, let me try something else. Okay, paint. Let me try this. Okay, I have it here. Okay, finally I got it. Okay. Let's see what this one goes. Okay, now let me go this one. View, zoom in. Okay, so okay, here now. I'm sorry. All right, let me do this. Okay, now when the son of Bhrigu who was terrible in appearance, spoke these words. Okay, so this when is what the saptami is. This when. What about the son of Bhrigu? Who is that?
Bhargave.
Bhargave. Who was of terrible or gigantic in appearance?
Bhimadarshane.
Bhimadarshane. Bhimam is the terrible or gigantic. Appearance is darshanam. And Bhovri compound. Spoke is?
Uktavati.
Uktavati. Everything is saptami because of when. Everything is uktavati. And these words is this one. Evam.
Evam.
When he has spoken, that's Evam Uktavati. The descent of Raghu, descendant of Raghu, which is
Raghavaha.
With his lower lip quivering in smile.
Smita Vikampita Dhara.
So his lower lip was quivering with the smile. Considered. I think Pratyapadyata. Pratyapadyata. Considered. The very acceptance.
Samartha Uttama Uttaram.
No, very is Eva. So Eva is very. Very is Eva.
Tadguna Eva.
Acceptance is Grahanam.
Grahanam.
Of his bow.
Tadhanhu.
Tadhanur Grahanam of his bow. To be the best reply. Is the
Samartham Uttaram.
Samartham Uttaram. Samartham is Uchitam Uttaram. And took it up. This is, of course, it should be in brackets. So he considers Pratyapadyata. The very is Eva. Acceptance is Grahanam. Of his bow is Tadhanur Grahanam. Best reply is Samartham Uttaram. Okay, thank you. Let's be out of time. Quick homework. Purvajanma dhanusha samagataha sotim matra lagudarshanaha abhavat kevalopi subhagaha navambudaha kim punaha tidasha chapalanchitaha. Kim punaha comes in Gita. Can you find where in Gita it comes? Ambudaha, upada samasaha, ambu plus da. If you can try to form that with Sutram 323, ambudaha, can try that one. Atimatra, lavu darshanaha, if you can also try to decipher this compound if you can. Abhavat, Lang lakaraha. Try to analyze that one. Abhavat lang lakaraha. Okay, let's stop with that. So its time is up. So Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Vihata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Rama Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhautame Bho Ramama Muddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane Shri Rama Nama Varanana Undamiti. How